is rushing out of the cabin. The oxygen masks drop down automatically when the air pressure falls. The explosion, the sudden loss of pressure in the cabin. There must be a hole in the aircraft.
Gear door! Check gear. Gear. What? Check gear. Gear.
The pilot's first thought is that the landing gear doors have blown off.
Squawk 77.
7700 is the emergency code. When the crew radios this code to the ground, air traffic control will know the plane is in trouble.
But now, on control! Put your heart into it or it'll stop!
The hydraulics failure has caused a serious problem. For the last few minutes, the plane has begun flying in an alarming pattern. First, it climbs steeply, then tips over and goes into a terrifying dive of 1,200 meters, only to level off and begin to climb again. This repeats itself over and over again. The pilots cannot understand this bizarre behavior, and they are powerless to stop it.
Shall we descend a little?
The captain does not reply. It's possible that by now he and his crew are suffering from hypoxia or lack of oxygen to the brain.
The R5 head?
At this altitude, the oxygen in their blood starts to fall. First, their judgment may become impaired. Eventually, they may lose consciousness.
The R5 head? Yes, I understand. Captain, the R5 masts have stopped! Both hands! How about gear down? Gear down! Should put the gear down!
Lowering the landing gear should slow the plane down and make it more stable.
Doesn't work. Should I lower the alternate?
For safety, 747s employ an electrically run system, separate from the hydraulics, that can lower the landing gear in an emergency. While the engines are turning, they still have electric power. Lowering the landing gear helps stabilize the plane. The drag of the undercarriage has a dampening effect on the pitching motion. But it also destroys the directional control they were getting by applying more power to one side of the aircraft.
Max power!
Close to Mount Fuji, the tallest mountain in Japan, the plane makes an abrupt turn to the right.
With us, please! Stay with us!
Just as suddenly, the plane comes out of its dive. They've dropped over 3,000 meters. They're now in amongst towering mountains, but at least there's more oxygen at this altitude. The pilots have been fighting the plane for an intense 22 minutes since the explosion.
This may be hopeless! The hydraulic fluid is all gone! It's uncontrollable! Hey, mountain! Down! The ring! Yes! Ring! 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 Good eat the mountain! Back power!
Applying maximum power in order to lift the nose is their only option.
Good eat it! Right! Ring! Ring! Power! Power! Keep trying!
In their efforts to control the plane, they've allowed the speed to drop too much. To escape the mountain, they need maximum power to generate more speed and more lift.
Stick with it! Stick with it! It's pushed all the way! The altitude! Go lower the nose! It's lowering! Going down!
The passengers grasp the seriousness of the situation. Many of them prepare for the end. But increasing power to avoid the mountains has caused the plane to resume its wayward up and down motions. Having run out of options, the crew is forced to repeat the same futile procedures over and over. They've been fighting the plane for nearly 30 minutes now. Suddenly the plane goes into a steep dive, the worst yet. The plane is falling at 5,500 meters a minute.
Japan Air 123. Japan Air 123. Can you hear me?
Japan Air 123, Japan Air 123, do you read?
Japan Air 123.
Japan Air 123.
Japan Air 123 is gone.